Hi guys, it's Juliana.
And Mike.
And Storm from the Miles Tomorrow. We're back from Disney and we're gonna be recapping every day we spent. So in this video, you're gonna see us traveling to Orlando from Hartford. We took JetBlue and we stayed at the Wyndham, which is right across the street from Disney Springs. And we headed right to Epcot once we dropped our bags off at the Wyndham. And we actually park hopped our first day. So after the video, we're gonna give you guys some tips and tricks. We'll talk about how much it costs, because everybody always asks us how we go to Disney so much and isn't it so expensive? So we're gonna give you the download on all of that good stuff after this.
3:30 a.m. Trip starts now. This is me after one drink. This is beer number 2, IPA. Drink number 3, IPA.
And a broken flip-flop.
Transcontinental Railroad complete. Jesse Cohen leaps into history. This humble young man wins again at the Berlin Olympics.
It's not bad. Drink number 4, sangria.
Blood orange mimosa.
Beer number 5, Highlight IPA.
Take my mask off.
Drink number 6, White Claw.
Where are you going?
Hollywood Studios.
How you doing?
Huh?
Let's go live.
Whoa!
Hey, you want to go live with us on the Skyliner?
We on a Skyliner.
Oh lordy, we don't know which way we're going. Where's something going this way?
No, we know exactly. We know exactly where we're going.
No, we don't.
We going to the Riviera.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
We're going to Hollywood Studios.
Drink number 7, Hollywood Studios.
Concludes my guided tour. Hope you had a relaxing ride around the park, and thanks for sticking with me. Hey, picnickers! Told you nothing was gonna go wrong.
Our command will be proud.
A first-order trading shipment of coaxium. Gunners, you clear the path. Pilots, line up behind the train. And engineers, you harpoon that precious cow.
It's just us. We're flying the whole ship.
Dramatic.
What did you think of our first day?
It was a lot. Started early, and it was longer as the day went on with the drinking and walking. But it was a good first day.
Yeah, it was very busy. So let's start with our flights. How much did it cost us to fly to Orlando this time?
$26 per person each way.
Yeah. So if you are interested, if you live in the Northeast, like we do, and you want to go to Orlando, check on the JetBlue app or on the website. They constantly have these flash sales. They constantly have cheap flights. And if you get the JetBlue card, which is what we have, you will rack up points for every vacation, and then you can use those points for your flights going forward. So we do that a lot. That's one of the questions all of our friends ask us, like, isn't Disney so expensive?
Yes.
It is expensive, but there are cheap ways to do it, and we'll give you all of that information throughout all of our videos. So the second piece is the Wyndham. This time we didn't stay on Disney property.
No.
How come?
Because it was so cheap. You can't beat it. It's only like $60 a night, something like that.
Yeah. So the Wyndham is right across the street from Disney Springs. You literally walk out the back door into the parking lot, you cross the covered bridge, and you're in Disney Springs. So if that's something that you're going to be wanting to do on your trip when you go, look into the Wyndham. And there's a bunch of other hotels. There's Hilton hotels. I forget the street name. We'll have to look it up and let you know where exactly that's located. But There's a bunch of hotels in walking distance of Disney Springs. So if you're gonna be going to Disney Springs a lot and not doing so much of the parks, maybe you wanna do that instead of staying on Disney property.
For sure.
So one of the other perks of staying there is you don't really need a car. If you're gonna be doing Disney related stuff, because you're at Disney Springs, you can cross the street and you can still use their transportation. So what we did, what you saw in our first video, was we walked over to Disney Springs after we checked in at the Wyndham. We got in line and we went to the boardwalk on the Disney Springs bus.
Which is free.
Which is free, yeah. So all of Disney transportation is free. So if you cross the street, you can go to any of the resorts. The only thing is the buses from Disney Springs don't go directly to the parks. So you will have to figure out which park you're going to and which resort is closest to it. And then you would just either switch buses, or our favorite thing to do is to hop on the Skyliner, because right now it's the fastest thing. And in our future videos, we're going to talk more about Disney transportation right now. In the past, it has been pretty easy. This year, with the pandemic and everything, it's not as great as it's been. Definitely could be better, but we'll talk more about that in another video. So let's talk about cavalcades.
What about them?
So cavalcades are replacing meet and greets for the characters. So if you have little kids and you're planning on going to Disney and they're excited to meet their princesses or any of the characters, they're not going to be able to do it.
Only from afar.
Yes. But it is really nice that Disney thought of doing the cavalcades, because it is really cool. They play the music out of all the speakers. They have, you know, what are those people called?
Cast members?
Cast members. They have cast members walk down the street, so you know the cavalcade's coming. And they have all kinds. They have, in this video, you saw Minnie and Mickey and Goofy, and then you saw the princesses. They also have Anna and Elsa. We haven't caught that one yet.
No.
Yeah, so...
We did see the Disney Junior one, though, at Hollywood Studios.
We did. So you'll see that in a future video. Spoiler alert. But, so maybe next time we'll catch the Anna and Elsa Frozen one. So just a tidbit, if you're looking forward for those meet and greets, you might have to wait a bit.
The worst part is, you don't know when they're coming. They're just totally random, totally out of the blue.
Yeah.
No schedule.
They just run them. They go by like every couple hours. Sometimes you'll get one right after another. Sometimes you won't see them for a couple hours. You never know. But it is nice that at least you get to see the characters. These guys are so weird in the background over here. Okay, so the main topic from our last video, drinking around the world. It's a lot harder than you think. That's like what a lot of people know about Epcot and the World Showcase. So how many countries are there? We'll have to let you know.
Research.
I
don't know, 12 of them?
Yeah.
14?
There's a lot of countries.
20?
But there's also a lot of carts in between the countries. So if you're there during a festival, which right now it's the Festival of the Arts, and you'll see a lot of the selfie art stations. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's a lot of different carts. So like you'll see the one we got the White Claws at, they have a little cart and you can get beer or seltzers. So it's really hard if you want to drink around the world. Stick to the countries and actually go into the booths. Don't stop at all of those little carts, because you'll never make it. we stopped at what, 5 at Epcot, and then we park hopped. So if you really want to do it, set a plan in place. Come here, Storm. And good luck. The other thing about going to the World Showcase is the price. I put a couple of receipts in here just because people will probably ask like how much it costs.
You will spend more than you expect to.
you'll definitely spend a lot of money. So we like to bring cash, and then that's your budget for the day. You know, sometimes you need more cash, but if you're definitely, you know, having a price in mind for each day, bring cash. And then once your cash is gone, be okay with your day, you know, ending there with your drinking.
Oh, what some people do is they'll put cash on a gift card, a Disney gift card.
Yeah.
Now you have a running total and you can't go over, you can't spend more than you put on there. So
yeah, that's a good idea too. And sometimes in the festivals, they have the little wristbands. Is that only in Food and Wine? We'll have to see. The Food and Wine Festival, they have little wristbands and like it's pretty much like a gift card. You put a select amount and then it has a nice little wristband and you can use it at all of the kiosks that way. So that's another way to help you kind of stay on budget, unlike us.
Vacation.
Masks. So you do have to wear a mask all the time when you're on Disney property. On the buses, waiting in line, in the parks for sure. I was pleasantly surprised that they actually really enforced the mask rule this time.
Yeah.
I was there over the summer with the kids, and the mask rule was still in place, but they weren't as strict about it. If they saw you kind of drinking as you were walking, they didn't really say anything. This time we saw several people, like, you can't walk around and eat and drink with, you know.
If you have your nose hanging out the bottom of the mask, they'll yell at you.
Yeah. And they have signs everywhere that says, like, if we have to ask you multiple times, you're going to be asked to leave the park. So if you're going to spend that much money on a park ticket, just follow the rules.
Suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And it really isn't that bad. We went in the middle of the summer. Both kids had no problem wearing their masks all day. They do have rest areas where you can actually take your mask off. And
relaxation stations.
Relaxation stations. And you can take your mask off while you're eating or drinking while stationary. And they have a ton of tables all over the place. And just like little nooks and, you know, little areas, benches where you can just kind of pull off to the side and eat your heart out with no mask on.
But they are strict about it.
Yeah, so keep that in mind too. If you're not fond of wearing masks, probably not.
At this point, you should be used to it. So,
so the new Epcot spears. What do you think of those?
They're cool. They look nice at night.
Yeah, it was awesome at night. I thought it was so much more open. So if you're familiar with Epcot, they used to have these big, giant blocks. I don't know what you call them, but they had like writing and like you could buy a spot on them. So they took those off. You guys want to come in? The kids are dancing in the background. So they took those down, but you used to have to kind of walk around that. And when the parks were really full, it really caused like a bottleneck in the front of the park. So now that's all gone. It's wide open. And they have these 3 spears that you'll see in some of our photos. And they light up. There's a little fountain. It's right in front of the Spaceship Earth. So yeah, it looks really nice. We like it. Selfie art too. You'll see so many photos, and in our future videos, you'll see more photos as well, because I couldn't get enough of them. This one didn't want to do them.
No.
He's too cool.
No, I don't need to be standing in front of butterfly wings.
But
it's cool.
They were so cool.
Yeah. And
they had like child-size ones too. So if you're traveling with your kids and, you know, you don't want to pick them up, it kind of ruins the picture. They have kid-size ones where they can just stand there themselves, and they have the little mini wings, and they had a Figment one, like so much. So Festival of the Arts has a lot of really cool stuff. And then in our future videos as well, when we go back to Epcot, you'll see a lot of the art. I'll put those photos in that video because the art was actually really, really cool this year.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, they're doing a lot of construction in Epcot, so it's a nice way for them to make it not look so terrible.
Yeah. So that's another thing. We'll talk about the construction in our next video. Well, not in our next video. The next video when we go to Epcot for the day, we'll talk about the construction, because there's construction walls that kind of
everywhere
limit you for if you've been to Epcot and you know your way around. The walls will kind of throw you for a loop. So we'll talk about that in our next Epcot video. So the last thing we want to talk about in this video that you saw was park hopping, because park hopping is back, which is exciting. And we took advantage of it because we were only there for what, 5 days, 6 days. We were there for a short time. So we wanted to make the most of it. And, so we got a park hopper for all of the time that we were there. And we went directly from the hotel to Epcot, did our thing. And after 2 p.m., you could park hop to any park.
as long as there's availability.
Right. And there's a phone number that you can call that we'll put in the description down below, that you can call right at 2 p.m. to make sure that the park that you want to go to has availability.
Yep.
And the parks are running buses from their park to all of the other parks. So if you are at Epcot and you want to go to Hollywood Studios, you can just hop on that bus and go straight there. Well, Skyliner, or, you know, whatever the park is. It is a little bit more money, but in our tips and tricks, we will also talk about your biggest bang for your buck with the park tickets. Because sometimes if you want to do several parks, it's actually cheaper to do the park hopper than it is to get a one-day ticket for one park and then a park hopper for, you know, the other time, the rest of your stay. So we'll make a video about park hopping and how to buy your tickets and all of that good information. So after 2 p.m., you can park hop to any park that has availability till close. Anything else about park hopping?
Well, we didn't have any issues with it because there was nobody there.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too. We were there at a pretty decent time. We didn't go to the parks on the weekends.
We were there the week of President's Week. President's Day. No, Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King.
So we were there that weekend, and we did hear that on Martin Luther King Day and weekend prior to that Monday, some of the parks did hit capacity. So if you're planning your trip and you're going to be there on a weekend, maybe just kind of keep that in mind, that you may not be able to park hop to the park that you want to go to, just because it is going to fill up. Anything else that we want to talk about in our video?
From day one?
From day one. We had a good time, as you saw.
Awesome. No crowds. Sign me up.
Yeah. And so that's the other thing too. I didn't put it on my list of things to talk about, but the waits for the rides, it was shocking. Our entire trip, we were able to ride some of the most newest and hyped up rides. We rode Minnie and Mickey's. I think our wait for that ride was 25 minutes. And
yeah, the wait time said 40 minutes, 35 minutes, and we only waited 20, if that.
Yeah, it went so fast, and it was all socially distanced. The line has, you have your markers, you stay your 6 feet apart, you get to go through the whole queue, which is really cool. I actually kind of liked it better than a Fast Pass. And we'll talk about that more in our Animal Kingdom video, where we get to ride
Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage. Because we have never actually gone through that whole queue, and we were able to do that this time. So we got to ride Minnie and Mickey's day one. We got to ride Millennium Falcon day one, which we haven't done in our past trips. And that was a walk-on as well. So pros and cons, I guess. You got to wear your mask. You got to kind of wait a little bit for transportation. You can park hop as long as they're not at capacity. And if you go during the week and you time it right, you might not have to wait. for your favorite ride.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I would 100% do it again.
We will. We'll be back.
Shocker.
But anyways, so keep an eye out for our day 2 video where we eat at Wine Bar George. And then we tried to do the Skyliner bar crawl. And we'll talk more about that in our next video. So if that's something you're interested in, keep your eye out. If not, thanks for watching.